I made choices that landed me in prison.
Imagine being sentenced today for a crime you committed, but serving a longer sentence than someone who committed the exact same crime, just because of a completely different charge from when you were a juvenile and a rule that doesn't exist anymore. In 2023, the Washington State Legislature acknowledged that using prior juvenile convictions to lengthen adult sentences was unjust.
To see it finally get passed was a great experience for me, and it felt good. But it was tempered with sadness because they put a clause in there that made it non-retroactive, which means it wouldn't affect people who are already in prison. One of my good friends, David Hepard, he has a shirt and it says, "Imagine if the 13th Amendment was not retroactive." Imagine if they said slavery was wrong, we want to undo this, but it's not going to affect anybody who's currently in slavery. It's only going to affect those coming along next. Like, how incredibly unjust is that? And that's what we're here fighting for and going for, is that retroactivity to be added, because if you're saying it's harmful, then let's address the harms. Because now you're punishing people twice for something they did as a young person, when our juvenile system is supposed to be based on rehabilitation and not punishment. But here you are using something that happened as a juvenile to further punish somebody who got in trouble as an adult.
This year, we're back. House Bill 1274 is about finishing the job, making sure that if a sentencing practice was unjust, it's unjust for everyone.
I hope that it's able to accomplish exactly what it says, to try and bring some justice to something that policymakers themselves said was unjust. And how we're trying to do that is just bring retroactivity to this and not allow people to be punished twice. What this will do is this will affect a large number of people, getting them back in court to get resentenced to a sentence that is still holding them accountable for the crime they committed. Is just not adding extra time for something that happened as a young person.
The people impacted the most? Indigenous, Black, and brown communities who were already disproportionately sentenced under these policies.
I think everybody should be concerned. Like, if it affects one, it affects all. And usually people don't really get involved until it's happening to them or their family. We all have to have empathy in our heart for the young people in our world who do things and they are not fully developed. Their ability to not discern right from wrong, but simply understanding that they have a flaw in their decision-making process. Young people make bad decisions, and we're just talking about not punishing them as adults for a bad decision they made when they were underdeveloped mentally or emotionally. So when I was inside, one of the most powerful things that moved me was that I was determined to show society my humanity. I really wanted people to see my humanity and just see me as a person. And that's something that I pushed forward with. When I got out, it maintained, but it took on a different shape. Because when I got out, what I realized was the most important thing wasn't that I allow society to see my humanity. The most important thing was that I see my own humanity. And that's something that I share with people that I talk to that are still incarcerated. I want them to see their own humanity as much as they want the world to see their humanity. And that's what's important here, is that we continue to center a person's humanity. We just remember that people are just people.